It's Chelsa Messenger with Picks and Parlays. We're talking baseball. It's right around the corner, and if you need a little refresher course on how to bet baseball or just some helpful tips, we're here to help you out. We've got a promo code. The code is FINAL for 20% off the entire site at picksandparlays.net. Scott Rickenbach was the #1 capper for all sports on picksandparlays.net for all of last season, so he has some great analysis and the results to prove it. Scott, we're talking first 5 innings bets in baseball. And first, let's just kind of explain what the bet is and then how you can take advantage of it. Because obviously, there's several ways to bet baseball. This is one of them. Let's talk first 5 innings wagers.
Yeah, so first off, about the wager, just to make sure one of the key components that people have to understand, we're only going to be looking at the scoring through 5 innings. But what that means too is, of course, normally in baseball, the games are scheduled to go 9 innings. And if a home team is ahead going to the top of the ninth and they hang on to that lead, the game's over. They don't bat in the bottom of the ninth. But here, they bat in the bottom of the fifth, of course, no matter what. So that's something to keep in mind. We'll get back to that in just a moment, but just keep in mind the scoring counts for the whole 5 innings, which also means you could have a tie game after 5 innings. So you can have pushes even on money lines when it comes to betting the first 5 innings. It's going to be graded on that score at the end of 5. Now, when do we use that? That's one of the key things here. Most baseball bettors, including myself, the key thing we look at when we first start, we might look at a team that's on a hot streak or something, but it always matters who are those starting pitchers, because even in today's baseball, where we see more and more how much the bullpen has become a part of the game and starting pitchers just don't go as consistently for sure 6, 7, 8 innings. You just don't see that like you do in the old days. But still, most starting pitchers, you want to get 5 innings out of them. So here's the key with when you might look at a first 5 innings bet. It just comes down to maybe there's a starting pitcher that's really hot and you like him, but the bullpen for that team is horrible. So he'll come out and give a good start, but almost always that bullpen comes in and blows it for him. And, so you don't get the, yeah, there you go. So in that case, you might want to look at the first 5 innings with a pitcher like that if he's in a good spot and the situation is right for those teams. So that's one of the things that I like to do is it takes the bullpen out of the equation for the most part. Now, what I also want to mention is here's what's interesting too, because there's so many things you can do with those first 5 innings plays. They also have run lines on the first 5 innings, and you might be dealing with a big favorite that looks like they're in a great spot, and maybe you have a really strong starting pitching edge, but you're worried about that team's bullpen. Another thing with run lines, when you play them for the whole game, if you lay that 1.5 runs, you could get burned in the top of the ninth. Maybe your team's up by 2 runs, but a guy gets on, they move him over to second, he ends up scoring, you win the game by a run, which means you lose your run line bet. Well, with run lines for the first 5 innings, no matter what, you're going to bat in the bottom of the fifth. If you're taking a home team minus 1.5 runs is the example I'm giving here, and you're going to bat in the bottom of the fifth, you could score a bunch of runs there. And the thing is, a lot of pitchers tend to struggle the second time through a lineup. So by the time you're getting to the bottom of the fifth, even if a guy had good success, through the first couple innings, by the time those other guys come around in the fourth and fifth for a second time, they could be crushing him. And that's a key to having success with, first 5 innings play like that, even on the run line and laying that 1.5 runs. Plus, you get a better price, on your starting pitcher that way oftentimes.
Right, and you can also play totals in the first 5. You can go first 5 over, first 5 under. So if you think there's 2 really stud pitchers going head-to-head against each other, that might be a good spot for a first 5 under, but keep in mind the number is what you're playing. So sometimes those first 5 totals will be really low if you see 2 aces going head-to-head, but we'll see a lot of these games be 0-0 after 5. So that's another angle you can play. And also, if you think the pitchers are both terrible, you can play first 5 overs. So much goes into it, but that's just another way to bet on baseball. Plenty of ways to do it, and I think you should explore every avenue and maybe find what suits you best. It doesn't have to be money line. It doesn't have to be run line. It could be first 5. But yeah, that's what we do here at Picks and Parlays. We're trying to give you the edge on any kind of betting, and that's why we have Scott Rickenbach joining us. As always, great stuff from Scott. Scott, thanks for joining us.